With Skyward Sword HD coming out in just a few months, I wanted to go back and revisit my favorite relationship between a Link and a Zelda in the entire Legend of Zelda series. Hello there, fellow Legend of Zelda fans. Today I want to talk about how amazing I think the relationship between Link and Zelda in Skyward Sword is. Also, small disclaimer here, there are going to be spoilers for Skyward Sword in this video, so if you haven't played through it yet, I would recommend you go do that and then come back and watch this video later. So with that out of the way, let's get into the video. In Skyward Sword, Link and Zelda are really good childhood friends, and by the time the game starts, they know each other really well. We can see this when Zelda sends her locked wing to wake Link up because, well, she knows that he's gonna sleep in and be late to the wing ceremony. Zelda dotes over Link and worries about him fulfilling his full potential to the point where even Zelda's father tells her that she shouldn't worry so much about Link. The pair are also nearly inseparable, as expressed by Groose, who, let's be honest, is just jealous. Especially at the beginning of Skyward Sword, we see a Link that is kind of passive and spacey and sort of just goes with the flow. We see that it is Zelda who keeps him grounded and motivated to do his best, and she stands up for him against Groose because Link just can't be bothered. This is also the only time in a Legend of Zelda game where there is a clear romantic interest between Link and Zelda. I mean, just look at those eyes she's giving him right now. That's more than friendship if you ask me. And let's take a look at the scene where Link and Zelda talk for the first time in-game. Does anything stick out to you about the song choice during this scene? That isn't Zelda's lullaby like we would expect to hear when talking to Zelda. The song playing during this scene is called Romance. The opening of this game clearly shows how close Link and Zelda are, and it also puts on display their dynamic of Zelda being sort of the more assertive and intrinsically motivated one, while Link is clearly gifted but maybe not motivated to rise to his full potential. Because of this relationship that has been established between them, it is devastating when Zelda is torn out of the sky and plummets down to the surface. Link instantly dives to try to reach her but is thrown back and knocked unconscious. After waking up, he still tries to get up immediately and go find her, but he is stopped by Zelda's father. At this point, we've already seen a huge shift in Link's attitude where his best friend and someone that he loves deeply is in danger. His motivation to find Zelda and be reunited with her continues to motivate Link to keep going throughout this entire game. Everything that he's doing for her. This is similar to the hero of Wind's journey because he only begins adventuring after his sister is kidnapped and he wants to save her. When Link does see Zelda for the first time after her disappearance, they are both so visibly happy and they each reach out to embrace each other, but are once again separated. And Link even gets upset when Impa implies that he isn't good enough to protect her. Between then and their next meeting, Link is doing everything in his power to become the hero that Zelda needs him to be. When Zelda and Link meet again, we learn that Link was chosen by the goddess to be the hero that would save them all, and Zelda is the mortal incarnation of the goddess Hylia. These two are irrevocably intertwined, but it never feels as though they are only close because of this. Yeah, maybe they're destined to be part of each other's lives, but so are Zelda and Link in Twilight Princess, and their relationship isn't quite the same as Link and Zelda's in Skyward Sword. They aren't close just because they're destined to be. In fact, I would argue that it was the other way around, because Hylia chose Link to be the chosen hero because she knew how much he would care for Zelda. So if anything, they're destined to be together because of how close they were already going to be. They organically grew to care for each other so much, and it not only motivates Link to continue his journey, but I think that it motivates the player and makes us care about the story and what Link is doing. And when Zelda has to go into a deep sleep for thousands of years, it's a really emotional moment because we care about her. Going back to Twilight Princess example, when Ganondorf possesses Zelda and uses her as a puppet against Link, I didn't feel much besides, that sucks. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing. Their relationship is just different. Link and Twilight Princess doesn't love that Zelda like Link and Skyward Sword loves this Zelda. Kind of gets confusing when they all have the same names across games. At the end of the game, Zelda decides to stay on the surface and asks Link what he will do next. He of course decides to stay on the surface with her, and together the two of them create the land that we all lovingly know as Hyrule. So what do you guys think about the relationship between our original Link and Zelda? I know that Skyward Sword gets a lot of flack for some of its gameplay elements, but it is arguably one of the most story-driven games in the series, and I think that it does those things really well. I honestly really enjoyed this game, and I still do to this day, and I'm very excited for the HD version to come out in a few months. So let me know your thoughts on this topic in the comments down below, because I really want to chat with you guys about it. Also, if you want to support what I'm doing here, go ahead and leave a like on this video, and I post new Legend of Zelda videos every single Wednesday, so if you want to get an alert when those come up, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye!